Deluxe.
I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been. There's no one can stop me. Lynx is a conqueror. No, I'm Alexander. He's no Alexander. I'm the best ever. There's never been anybody as ruthless. I'm Sonny Liston. I'm Jack Dempsey. There's no one like me. I'm from their claw. There's no one that can match me. My style is impetuous. My defense is impregnable. And I'm just ferocious. I want your heart. I want to eat his children. I'm the most brutal and vicious and most ruthless champion there's ever been.
Never trust the living.
Happy Days on podcast. Ntwana yam. Happy day to have a good day.
Hayi ngendlela ethu.
Ngeke usabuye.
Ngeke usabuye.
Yeah. Siplomile. Sanda elona.
Esakhumzi.
Orlando West.
Kunje uthele kasi kwenzakalani kunomlando nyanga.
Lekasi leli lamathamba lawo. Yabona amathamba lawo adumile lawo epolitics. Lawo bethi singa esikolweni mara abantwana bebayigele wena bafananisa. Bageleza boma onkani. Sikhawaza amathamba. Awumadibas. Yathu sisulu. Okay, big up. Yeah. So that's the piece mara basikathile.
Yeah. Saqhubeka ngama legend intwana masihamba kahle
legend. Ngeke usabuya ngathi.
Ngeke usabuya.
Namhlanje siphethe ba.
Abe sifaka ipoti mara nawe ufaka ikepisa.
Yeah.
Baqale ngeyipoti.
Expect something else. Expect nje umuntu nje orelaxile. Yazi ama-shirt abo lawo. Umakhala lokile. Esekuthi ukuthi siwe kanjani.
Yeah. Sisasakhumzi mfethe yo. Uyabulisa ofisi se restaurantini. Ngamali ngangena.
Awujabulisa iPhone camera. Awujalisa.
Starstruck. Eugene Mthethwa, the one and only, is our guest today on Happy Days on podcast. Sabon from. I know,
right.
Hayi ngiyekele ukuthi nikhulume.
Sagrasela sibangula umsindo.
Awuthizwa ngeshort.
Inform yasemsebenzini.
Yeah, inform yasemsebenzini. Kuna mashetheni lawa.
Imagine uDr. Hamba estradini efake nama stethoscope la estradini.
Yeah, no, otherwise Eugene mnandi.
No ngishapho bafethu.
Nayiqala kamnandi la idea. Yini yenza ukuthi especially during those days king yenze ngori lecale group and then king yenze ngori le focus mo music.
Obani impintsha from Dalo.
Hayi sikule sonke phela ngethendo fire siphumile fire sonke so as amajita nje befela isincane music but ke abo Mandla no Jaros beba abo majika yabo ajayiva strong
I know uyasibona
ajayiva strong baze bahambe nama competition okujayiva you know kwakunalento ukuthi kube namajita esethufa nasendo fire a computer now sendo fire ba
okay
yeah lezi wina ama crate amabili
ujabela ama crate
yeah
but ke mina bengivele ngidu music because I come way back from isikhathi sabo Messi Phakela Chakra Sadike sengikhona music bengidlala ama keyboards and then I moved to play as a keyboard player for Lucky Dube that was 1989
awufanele no Lucky orla
yeah 1989
okay
yeah kanti mayithi Mr. Mthethwa
okay
yeah he's the first person actually was started lento aka Mr. Mthethwa yavela Mthethwa but I think it was prophetic because I guess if I'm called I was the only one in the group at that time more life introduce everybody ngamagama but when it comes to me he says Mr. Mthethwa which was sort of he was bestowing respect upon me, which has carried on for years. Abantu bangibiza Mr. Mthethwa, even estradini Mr. Mthethwa. But abanye bazothi speak it jaka but mina bafika mina bathi hayi Mr. Mthethwa. So it's an honor.
So nakala vele decide ukuthi igama le group zoba Trompies.
No, CSI discuss. Remember ukuthi this was introduced just at the eve of freedom, 1994. That's why Kwaito is regarded as music for post 1994. and we had a undocumented, uncoded vision demystify ezinye izinto. One, the issue with when you are dressed up like a gangster, you know, uthotsi.
Yeah, it's all true.
Remember thina sikhuleka sivele sifake isipoti siyazi idikisi ne-holster. Yeah, because that's what we could afford. We wouldn't be able to afford Louis Vuitton at that time. Now, as abafana basekasi sigqoka leyo nto leyo saziwa ngokuthi sigqoka, and when we started the music we wanted to associate with, we didn't want to lose that identity, and to keep, you know, to maintain the relationships that we had sisasebancane abantu esikhule nabo. Awufuna ukufika lapha sofake impahla ze-120,000 amajita bese feel like, you know, amajita esikhule nawo masibhlome nawo bese afile ukuthi wena hey focus yabantwana ila kuwena ngoba usidlile yabo. So we wanted to maintain that, but in your music vele was something that we loved. You would remember that Mandla and Jaros were dancers Chico. And then Mandla graduated into being the bass synth player Chico. Then we looked at drum, by the way, cycle thina kudala besizenzela thina.
Njengoba manje he look drum.
No, but mamela ingoma kame siphakela samateki. That's me. Playing a bass synth there. Kum 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 kum. You know, that was lock drum. Besiyenza thina besituna, because at that time the modules that we had didn't have the sound, so we had to tweak siyenza with it sounding ngalendlela, you know. So we introduced the lock drum, and we were part of that movement. It transitioned from bubblegum music into what we now term as Kwaito. We are the founders of Kwaito. Okay, so that was our. But it happened very funny in the Trompies ukuthi exist. We had done a demo. A demo yengoma ze Trompies abo Jakarumba, Chomis, Ngoma. And I remember those days we had music besufaka kuma TDKs. C9.
My cassette.
Now I was assigned to do the best of slaves, which was the best of Lucky Dube's band, recording Yakon. I was producing that, and because I didn't have money to buy a new cassette to put the music, with slaves. The best of slaves, and I was supposed to submit that for listening session, which was on Fridays. Normally it was always on Fridays, where A&R sales people, marketing would sit and listen to the new product. So I was supposed to bring that for a listening session, to bring slaves, best of slaves. Now remember that I was using an old cassette, so it had Trompies on side A, and on side B it had best of slaves. And when you rewind, I side B la with
shine for pen.
Instead, side Tillis, who was the general manager, kept on winding the cassette, and we were not even aware of it. Oh, by the way, no, side B. He kept on winding because he thought which I forgot to rewind the cassette. It's supposed to be on side A. Side A, what is Skyangengo? Everybody stood up and they said, look, this is best of slaves. Spot release. Say release and that's how accidental it was. It came. It Trompies otherwise, this was the music that had been rejected by
so many record companies.
EMI till and only when it was played, a mistake.
Wow.
And then it got thumbs up. So that's how. Now the name Trompies. You would remember that during that time, before 1994, there was a drama series on TV, which was called Trompies and the Boxon Band. It was an Afrikaans drama series.
That is why.
That is
This drama series was about a young boy who was overstowed, marrying in a smart way.
Okay.
So we thought, okay, post 1994. Now, I'm now narrating the issue here. What I said, it was an uncoded mission by us as township boys against being rebellious. We're saying now, post 1994, you can no longer call us kafirs. I'm not scared to call that word. Because I don't understand. They gave us the name. So now today they want to arrest us for using it. It's fine for a black person to say, I'm a kafir. It should be a joke. Just like one saying a nigger in USA. If it is a black person, people laugh. But if it is a white person, then it becomes insultive. So we then started saying, look, we want to name ourselves in Ngegama Lesbon. Ngamaboom. We want to call ourselves Trompies.
Okay.
I think it's a freedom.
What is the meaning?
There was no meaning. It was just we were taking it from Trompies and the box on Meaning that we were saying sistos, Maris is smart. Okay. And then it was Trompies, and then even the music. You would now understand that there was a revolution. That's why we call Kwaito a revolution. There was a subtle revolution in saying, now we can use words the Africans choose what we want to do. No one can tell us. You can no longer call me a kafir. That's why Arthur came up with the song Don't Call Me Kafir. And then Tina was saying, just before 1919, in the late 1980s, late 89, 87, 86, 87, 88, you would remember there was a black on black confrontation. Okay? Kunyiwa. So kusokanjalo. Mina ngipharosekhazi so bekunyiwa. Kunama gangster akrolisa abantu mabekuthola nenze kitchen party bakrolisa abantu thathelana who were taking advantage of the instability okay. There were amabutho. I won't say mina ngicabanga aphuma phi amabutho abe representative, but bekhona amabutho who were staying. Mostly it was guys who were staying in the hostels. Against some you know, and then they would come and shoot. There was also taxi violence that was happening.
It was just unlawful.
Amazulu taking over my route, emakasi la kune predominant uthola ukuthi abesuthi or yini bafika bathathe over. Now that made our playing field very unsafe. Very unsafe because I'm playing fields or playing field strategi. Besidlala umgusha estrateni, siteke tennis estrateni, sidlala ibhola estrateni, ama-chair azodlala ingede estrateni. So our playing field, because we didn't have these sports complex that they have today. Besidlala estrateni. Now when all this commotion was happening, black on black confrontation, we then withdrew from playing Estrati in Sahlala Indli and Tinaswas ama indoor games and so umase withdraw come 1994 now we have freedom. It is not by default. So there was having withdrawn, that's why Ishewell died because of that. Remember, they were creating Ulwandle to those. It died a natural death because abantu bebesaba to gather as black people in the unity, because then white people or Amabunu would come and maybe bomb in down. Just like Nabelung Nabu Basabu gather, because now countries up that they might come and bomb the place. So in that situation, it created a situation that took away our entertainment totally. Now, post 1994, come 1994, it is not by default that we launched Kwaito Ngama Street Bash.
Okay.
What we were saying now to understand, there's the issue of demystifying certain things. There's the issue of reclaiming our lost freedom. That is why Sivala is starting it. And it was not taxi men. Ababe slumeza mangabe sidlala estrade. But you like, why Sivala? That's why Sivala itranda sama taxi ngamabu. Okay. Ukuthi noma taxi asojiyangane itina la itina's pet. Also, it was the issue of claiming our streets, one. Secondly, claiming the media space. We're saying there's no party that would exist without Kwaito. That is why YFM became the best station at the time. It was playing Kwaito. Now we're reclaiming that space too against foreign content. Okay, so it was very political but uncoded. Nobody sat down, to strategize and say this is. It was instinctively as a machita seka. So maybe let me hold it there as and get a cool. It was very revolutionary. There's a lot that I can tell about us saying we are not going to do things the way in infinite sense. The record industry has got its own way of dealing with things. We are going to do it our way. And on the other hand, we're listening to the messages, the political messages at that time of the relevant youth league at that time, because that youth league was relevant at that time. It said, young people, you are not going to grab houses and grab lands and grab wealth. Now what this freedom means is that you are now equal. You've got equal opportunities. Black or white, so you can do that now. And we were saying, and that's why when they said seize the opportunities, being a concept you respond to this. Okay, that freedom that we had lost, yokus entertainer sikia ngengoma ke this time
ayashaya lapha sikia ngengoma baba yakhala manje
but obviously ngicabanga ukuthi le ngoma kuzoba ina it the way irocking ngakhona kufike kanjani kini I'm sure you were shocked
where you shocked
because everywhere bekuyiyo yiyo kuwa ama street bash ngoba masilokhu out nama jingles khala yona side by side.
Well, that album, it was out of a hunger for success. When you listen to that album, you would play almost all the songs, and people will be rocked. That's why it made us popular in Kuma live performances, because we would play. Remember that we had just released. Most people, they become famous Ngengome one. But we had a number of tracks that were popular with our debut album. Kokona Ngengoma kuno Chakarumba, kuno Chomi, kuno Vutela, Osiavuvuzela, kuno Jolasi, a number of tracks. So basically, must get a stage, period. Sagina say, abantu bangasafuna ukuperforma after Tina. We didn't do music because we wanted to be a celebrity. We're doing music because we're very passionate about music. and post 1994 gave us that liberty to do it our way. That is why we started Kalawa Jesme, because we were saying one of the political statements that were made at that time, Uguti, for us to be empowered economically to grow and develop economically, you need to have means to production. I guess that was the podcast. Means to production, meaning umangabe ufuna ubane no sugela, things sugela, have ube ne land yokutshala umoba. Okay, that's the only way of making it, not importing and selling.
Yes.
So that is why we took that decision now to go to, we are going to own our means of production, which is the studios. Okay,
so
proper studios. Yeah, we make our own music. We don't give rights, the mechanical rights to anybody. We own the masters. Unlike Abu Sipoma, who was Abu Ban before, who were indebted to the record company, because a company keep 100,000 to record it. Immediately you've lost ownership of something that you are supposed to pass to your children and say, this is my legacy, this is my investment. You know, maybe later on you would, Abu Bob Marley, Abu Michael Jackson, Maktua Mdana Kekonamanja, Tata Ikataloka Michael Jackson, we are taking this. It doesn't need to work. It doesn't even need to go to school. But with us, it's the opposite. They have to struggle. So we're saying we want to own our means of production so that we have ownership of mechanical rights. The masters belong to us. And then when we go and negotiate, we only go and negotiate for its distribution. And that says, I can say to the record company, whether major record company or what, I can say, I'm only giving you 1 year to trade with us. If you're not doing a great job,
and then I'm moving to someone,
I can move anytime. I'm not bound by artist contracts. Is it 3 years plus 2 year option or 10 years because you've taken an advance? Or when you start, you are already indebted to the company because you are minus 100,000 if I were in your recording. Before you get your royalties, now you have to pay this 100,000. That is why most of the artists are dying poor, because they are forever indebted to the record companies.
So lo muntu bebatshela le nto okhuluma ngayo ukuthi you guys must be aware. Ubani? Was it you?
Well,
Ubasi ubeka slim because kumele ube slim ukwazi lezinto. Khona uba usile ubatshela ukuthi ayazi bafethu asingenzini kanje ubani? I'm sure awusho ngihle.
Awusanda wathule lo muntu.
Kwazi ngicabanga ukuthi lezinto lezi uphetha.
I had already been in the industry as an artist, as a producer. Remember when I took Trompies, Best of Slaves, I was a producer. I was a producer at that time. So that's why most of the people thought I was the leader group. Because even negotiating the contract, it was me. Finding the deal, it was me. Smartly, navigating or maneuvering around the Amatem's agreement, which we never signed, by the way. I played them at Galong. No contract is Sasakumando. We say we can't say 4 months. So please bear with us. Not finally we among Kumbus. We tell Pella contract until it was the time for our royalties to be paid, because I wanted to see if they are going to adhere to the terms I was beginning and to pay accordingly. So before they could pay, I had an unsigned contract saying if you don't, we're out. And at that time, Trompies was so big. And normally this is what Okay, maybe to answer your question direct, I was more informed than the others,
Okay.
which I still remain the more informed than others.
Yeah.
And I'm sure you've seen.
Yeah.
No, you've noticed.
Yeah, each one of you has got a particular
Yes.
role to play,
Yeah.
which is what has actually kept us together because we don't step on each other's toe.
Yeah, we
I
are
know
too
what
much.
Okay, yeah, that's true. Eh?
You know, basenze ingoma, sifuna bass.
Choreography.
I speak irokokota ngama bass.
And akekho uzomphikisa.
Angekho uzomphikisa. And siyazi ukuthi is going to give us a proper bass. You know, if kufuneka ama keyboards, piano, it will be me, no Zaini, you know. Ama gimmick, jokes, no charus, you know. So we've never had any problems, which is the reason why we're still together.
Yeah, bengisathi ngiyabuza ngithi ama group amaningi man, you know.
Yeah.
Ayahlukana nina longevity sisayibambile. That's one of the reasons.
Yeah, we didn't come together ngokuthi sifuna ukuba famous, popular than the other, and then sifuna ukwenza imali kunobugreed obuthize. No, we've never been like that. It's music, and the fact that we grew up together, that's what even makes us to understand each other better, because I know must fika kwi-deadlock nomandla wangimiyekela ngoba I will not win it.
Yeah.
So I'll get him ngelinye ilanga mayilahlile ngithi you see, this is why I was saying this on that other day. Then uzabona ukuthi but as people who grew up together, I think that's the important thing that keeps us going, because we really understand each other. We treat each other like brothers, not like colleagues.
Okay.
As I speak, we have never had any artist contract as Trompies, not even with Galawa, because we founded Galawa, so it would be a conflict of interest to sit and negotiate with ourselves.
Wow. So Eugene, umculo uya-evolve, you know, but now with Kwaito, I wanted to find out from you, because obviously you guys are still performing Lengo and as a Kwaito, but to Kwaito your music, why ingaqhubekanga the way, or ukuthi nje change of sound ukuthi hayi kwengena sekuzosukuma piano manje the element of Kwaito khona lapha emapianeni, or but nje thina abantu besithobo sithi sound ngokabelo yabona silalela bokabelo silalela nina silalela
Sikhule ngayo
uMandoza yabona so but essentially you have to go back to disconnect data to hear that particular sound, you know.
Every era, you know, culture is not as it's dynamic. It moves with time, even if there are certain elements that you would maintain. Amapiano is white.
Okay.
Amapiano have taken back the music to the Kwaito-like sound, because after Kwaito there was boom, there was this, you know, even the tempo changed. It was high speed. Boom. Now Amapiano have taken it back. I said,
okay.
Ilok drum.
Yeah.
Okay, let me say, you had what, even though for me it's a disrespectful term to use to say bubblegum music, but we were coming from an era here, bubblegum music. Kwaito was influenced by bubblegum music.
Okay.
I will also be controversial deliberately, which is something that I'm known for. To say that, to substantiate my point of which Kwaito came from bubblegum music. The king of Kwaito, I999. The real king of Kwaito is Nyaka.
Okay.
So Nyaka was the first person during the era of bubblegum music to rap ngekas. Ngekas. Jabulani Fuku. Monday to Friday. Jabulani. Okay. That is why Nyaka transcended from the bubblegum era to Kwaito. When everybody else be fane ne bubblegum music abo Messi phakela abo bani bani. Sinyaka went into the new era with because he was the founder of Kwaito.
Okay, that is why I'm a
Yeah, nakazanga sale.
Yeah.
He was born before time.
Yeah.
With bubblegum era.
Okay.
Thus, when it was the Kwaito era, he still continued and he gave us Ama hits.
Something,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, no, yazwa ngalothi siseka.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
broadcasting from Sakumzi, like Orlando. Okay.
So, the sound of bubblegum music, it got changed, but still maintained the lock drum.
Okay.
Even Kwaito was using a lock drum, but a soft. Okay. You listen to
I'm giving away my age.
No, amapiano azalwe Kwaito. That's why they are even remixing ingoma zeKwaito. Yeah.
Yeah,
and for me, I'm actually happy that they are doing that.
They're doing justice.
Yeah, no, I support them big time because they're immortalizing us. It means that we live forever.
Yes.
You know, unlike them taking music and trying to imitate the music of Peshe. For me, it encourages me. They see value in what we did, and they always admit they were fun with it.
Sure,
I mean, abo maporisa wa tholwa ikala wa faka umjokes ekhala. By the way, maporisa wa faka umjokes ekala.
Okay.
Ukhulela ngaphansi
kwekala.
So yeah, it's just the talent it then showed up at a later stage, but uphekwe lapha ekala. A number of guys who are big today, baphuma lapha ekala. Abotira.
Okay. Isikela musika lawo.
Ekala akati.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wouldn't say that the bottom line is that no culture is stagnant, it is dynamic.
Okay.
If you go today, I mean today ungabona umuntu efaka ibheshi elenziwe ngesikhumba saya what. Tomorrow ubone efaka ibheshi but elenziwe ngematerial ethize. But it's still ibheshi. You know. So that's what is happening. The music it changes with time, and again technology provides different sounds. It's not sounds that they made themselves.
So after piano, so something else.
Something else.
So Nina, is it something that you climbing and like number 1 or 2 mapiano? Like
Tina, we're the founders of Kwaito. How can we follow Amapiano and Amapiano following Yes. We've done an album, it's ready to come out. Okay. Because one of the things that we have been hearing from the streets, because the streets are what tells you what to do. They're the people who consumed our music. And people have been saying, guys, Cartel Amapiano, please can you bring us music? We want to hear the real music. I don't know what they mean when they say because everything is music. But that has been the quest. I'm a fans are still looking forward to that.
I mean, I also release and maintain that thing. So but maybe let's move in on to apart from Umtulo. We are taking a zile blind. I lay young man as good. Can't drive some driving. We are just focus. Because of pressure. Need to requite. Abandon Bantan. Nick Jive and Hanalis. And touring and the next thing, he going to be Sean Peralez's. or mhlawumbe awusitshele yazi dala ngifuna ukuyibuza lokuthi mhlawumbe uphuma ekhayeni chama nakho beningawubamba umshini ukuthi uyafunda la ekhaya ulokujiva mfana wakho.
I know. As I did say that we were on a mission.
Okay, yeah.
And one mission that we were constantly faced with a question by a community or let me say a message by Abantu Ekas.
Yeah.
They see us as role models. But here I am as a role model and I'm saying go to school, but I didn't go to school.
Okay.
What am I saying?
Yeah.
Young person sees I'm an artist, afana nabo Brenda Fassie, about Kabelo, Abu Mandoza. They did not go to school and then they become popular. They get into drugs and then they disclose, they go to rehabilitation and they come and be heroes, role models.
Yeah.
That's why the value of a role model, it changed totally. The in meaning, a role model changed drastically. Today, a role model is somebody who can kill.
Yeah.
Broad daylight. Umuntu oshaya ikare ayenze spin ikare we role model, and I realized one thing, that with this imposed role modelship esinayo, one has to say it aisho with a meaning.
Yeah.
And that would be, I have gone to school. So if I say to you go to school, I know what I'm talking about. I'm not just saying it because it's a rhetoric,
Okay.
But even though I further went into saying, and this is the statement I made when people are saying I was looking for something to fall back onto, and I said no, that's not me. That's not my thinking. Because immediately when I say I'm looking for something to fall back onto, I'm saying this thing yami zophela. Therefore, and I said why Michael Jackson has sustained himself for years until
Because on a young scale, it's still on.
But what I wanted to enhance the knowledge around this thing. That's why I took subjects that were related to what I'm doing. Intellectual property rights. I needed to know that because that's where the value is. To understand. That is why today I can stand and argue and debate with anybody about Iletolena, and people respect me for that. Even though I did not study this is what I said, I'm not studying in order to go and look for a job. No. I was studying to gather knowledge, to have knowledge and enhance my understanding of the industry so that I can create this into business and understand the business concept of the music business. That is why I didn't even complete it, because my thing was to motivate, one. Secondly, it was just to gather the knowledge. There was something that disturbed my studies whilst I was there, and I will remind you, because it's a story that I still need to tell.
Okay.
Remember when I went to school, there was so much said by the media that I went to Dayz because I wanted to be the president of the SRC because I'm popular, so I was going to assume that position easily. And there was a story that Kwaito killer still haunted by the past, an incident that happened in 707 where I shot somebody. You remember? I shot somebody in self-defense, and that crippled my career, academic. Because I remember one day I was driving Puma Evans, and I was going to see my parents in Bronco Street. So I was driving on N1 to Pretoria. Boom, here's an electronic, the only billboards I've ever received in my entire life. Kwaito killer still haunted, an electronic billboard on N1. I stopped, literally stopped in the middle of the road. I forgot totally that there could be cars coming behind.
Yes.
I reversed. That's the power of what media can do. Media can kill you. Literally, physically could kill you. I reversed. My bega le billboard. Indeed, here's me with this Kwaito killer, still haunted by the past. This was 7 years after that incident happened. Now the friend of the deceased, 7 years later, he works for City Press. Now he finds a platform to hit back on me. Okay. And he came to interview me a bit, and I told him the same story that I told, because truth will remain the truth. I will remember that story even 15 years, 20 years later. The same thing. And the newspaper says, when they issue the story, the publication of the story, they say that I was given preferential treatment because I am a celebrity. Secondly, because I'm a member of the ANC. That case didn't see the light of the day. And if you would understand the legal perspective of
Because you usually went to court.
I took the evidence to the police station. I took the gentleman to the hospital after a duplicate. I sat there. I was the one who went to tell the family that I have shot your son and your son has passed away. And it wasn't because of the bullet, but because he was too drunk and Epara, they wafaga him.
So losing a lot of
Sedation.
Huh? What?
Morphine.
This thing.
yokukulalisa.
Yokukulalisa uma ngabe you're going to go through the operation. I'll remember it. But if you do that, you're not supposed to do that to a person who's drunk.
Okay.
Because the person, to bring that person back, it would be a problem. And the guy had lost too much blood, and the hospital, the doctors only got blood from lab.
Yeah.
Ngabo 3 a.m. ngimlethe lapha ngabo 9. Only at 3 a.m. bebeyothatha igazi ukuthi bakufake igazi. Yabo. So it was a mistake, negligence.
Negligence, yeah.
Yasesibhedlela. But they turned it around, but post-mortem did not come out. Only on the day of funeral, ibhokisi cannot go down before kuvela i-post-mortem. So bebelibeka eceleni komgodi ibhokisi. Ifikele lapho i-post-mortem, and i-post-mortem bafika ithi there were 2 bullets, which was life. Now they were defending themselves from negligence. Ngalana,
wow.
We explain
who's this minister? Why Minister of Justice? Maduna. Maduna says, because of this article, it says, no, we want to show there's no one who's above the law. We did not. Now I was going to become a sacrificial lamb. And at this time I'm studying. And when you're studying law and you have a criminal record, it kills your career. And that process delayed. Remember that I had gone through the process the time in Zalen. Now 7 years later now, Bavuda inquest. And you see that's the only article. I laminated that article at the back of my bedroom door to say each day when I wake up I look at that and tell that article that there's no other article that will ever break me like that article ever again. I used it to gain that strength because that's one article that killed me. And guess who was the chief editor in City Press? Busmon. Busmon. Busmon was, and the journalist Uti. No, but I gave him the story. It is the chief editor who decided how it should
phrase it.
how should it be phrased on the billboards and all that. So he's the one who destroyed my law degree, my law career. I waited for almost a year. I couldn't, after that article, it was on Friday when I saw the billboard. I hid myself in my dormitory, in my rest, for 3 months not attending. I couldn't walk around the campus. Everybody saying, no, it did. It really did. It really did. It broke me into pieces. And until Malcolm X, Malcolm X came to me, he would bring me food, rest, and he said, look, the more you hide yourself, it is the more you prolong this thing. Get out there. Get out there, let them talk, whatever they're talking, it will take about a week, it will be over, they would have got. And I did that and it worked. But I couldn't remember that I ever said to you qualify for my exams based on the assignments that you have submitted.
So
you
nothing was submitted.
I couldn't do anything. I couldn't go. And when you do law, you have to be at the library every day, basically every day, and become a parrot. Cases. The good lawyer is the one who knows cases. Not logical. Not applying logic.
But just by doing
Cases in case so and so. Yes, so and so. This is what happened. So you have to be at the library every day. So I couldn't be at the library. I couldn't. I felt so, I remember sometime I would drive and just say, there's that.
What's a pinwheel?
Ejobek.
Oh, Ejos.
La bekunokuphefoma khona, I think bekunokwenza ama-event khona. I think during the World Cup something benzwa khona. So I would go there, just sit there the whole day. Ngiyi-one. Ngalana kunengqondo ye-suicide. Ngalana and during that period, I was also doing philosophy. That's where some of these things they come from. People think that it's smart and
I'll take it.
So I did philosophy school. So when we're doing philosophy, we're doing critical thinking and philosophy of the mind. And at that stage, we're dealing with a subject that deals with morality of an act. Whether an act is morally good or morally bad, what makes it morally good, what makes it morally bad. And an example that was placed for us to do an assignment on was, here's a community that is in a problem, in a problem of murders. There's a psychopath who's killing people. And suddenly they arrest somebody that they suspect. Okay. But when the investigating officers, they interrogate this guy, they realize that this guy is not. But again, the psychopath has found an escape situation where he can then move into another area. Because they've announced to the community that they've arrested somebody who's suspected to be, and then the killings, they stop, and people are happy. Now they say, a morally good, it's a theory that they have, a morally good act is that pleases a majority of people in the absence of pain. The issue of sacrificial lamb. I'm sure you've seen a movie around something like that guy who's arrested for something that he never did, and then he's on a death row, So whilst we're doing that, I'm faced with this thing. You would imagine I'm gonna be a sacrificial lamb. So being winder in such a way that I felt, you know what, maybe I should leave South Africa at some point. That's how darkest place. Yeah, that was my darkest. And this went on for a year. Now imagine if this is going for a year, what am I doing eskoleni? How am I thinking? Ngala ngene class in moral or that it's called what utilitarianism. Yeah. To please people, now that you've told the community that this person is out and people are celebrating, you can't go back to them and tell them, no, the person that's arrested there is not. So, finally, go fellow. But this person is not.
So as long as I'm
So it affected me a lot. I couldn't, but I've been doing my studies inside.
I was just supposed to say, you try to incorporate what you're trying doing because weird.
Yeah, remember I said I wasn't going to school and not to secure a job.
It's part of your business now.
And I understand it. There's no one the music. Copyright, mechanical rights, middle time, what. I know I think also it's maybe my left hand or is it my right hand of the right hand of my mind. It's sharp for leso because I've gone to court where I decided I'm going to represent myself and not have a lawyer. I've never lost a case. 4 cases I've won, all of them. Case in Fanwam where my son was found escorted with a stolen gun, which had about 11 bullets. He was supposed to go for 15 years. Ithathe igani kamkhulu wakhe yaya na esikoleni ngoba kunalento zama-gangster.
Okay.
And then they found him with that and they arrested him, but they interrogated him the whole day before bamhanda over to amaphoyisa. Amaphoyisa am-interrogator abhale statement without us as guardians or as parents to be there. But I know Child's Act.
Yes.
I know.
Underage.
Underage. And we interrogate you, and then there's a statement which I had to nullify. I walked over the commander, our station commander, and what I ain't for never because we are willing to take the child. The child stayed without food the whole day, the whole night. Against our will. What W docket, a charge sheet, station commander, color pants, about 10 p.m. My figure, So she messed up so many things. So when I got to court, I said it was an illegal arrest. That's the first point. Yeah. The child was interrogated in the absence of an adult.
Yeah, that's guided.
Yeah, which the Child Act doesn't allow. China was violated, human rights were violated, the whole day, constitutional rights, criminal act means that you must, first and foremost, before you must tell them their rights. These guys did not even know a single right. Magistrate, station commander, are you aware of the cross violation of all these rights? What to do station? No station commander, funu kipela me no guti. Because a station amapoisa were saying this guy is so how we celebrate. But why participate umngani wakhe mayihamba ekhaya because sayongena kwi public transport umngani wakhe uhlala a walking distance from esikoleni mayibuya igun was found in the back yakamngani but lapha kwi charge sheet ubhala ukuthi possession of firearm. So I asked the please tell me, there are 3 guys bambele for repossession. How did they possess one gun by 3?
Yeah.
No, magistrate was laughing. So I've realized, yes, when they say vets gives you the edge, yes, it does. I didn't remember that. I went to gather knowledge, not to pass.
Yeah.
Aba. So abanye abantu abaningi ke bagijimela ukuthi they want to pass and get the sometimes they even not do. They are not honest in that. I know people who have asked me to do my assignments for them. Bese school and bese university. They ask me what to write an assignment. They are not honest. And at the end of the day, also pass along, then go to court and hear how embarrassing, especially black lawyers, how embarrassing they are. You don't know, because if I'm a work club. Remember, you go and read whether it's customary law, you'll go. I didn't say that. You go, a library fund the customary law. You go, ufunda case customary law. Go and ufunda cases, criminal law. You know, all the different law causes you do cases. Now, what I've realized, when they go to court, they can't speak English. They can't express themselves, which makes them even weaker than the white lawyers. Uthatha umuntu la akakwazi ukuchaza ukuthi ufuna so you're bound to lose some cases in that situation. Yes, and I did applied English. I did political science. I did international relations to understand the international laws. And then I did the other law subjects. Because mine was to say, let me equip myself with this knowledge, because I will need international relations. There are international treaties that relate to our music. I need to know. Ask any other artist like Banud Baz Uti under UNESCO what
Out in Jekula. But so we must say Eugene. Musician. You know, Jengani Bajume, Baba Nenonje Vici. What is the surely Abandaba Young Babugele, Nanam Fumba Kwaito musician. Namu Kalawaya. But he into Mamkayo, tip.
No, answer a booklet. My do's and don'ts. It doesn't be long. The first thing that I would say, Oguti, I think the mentality or the notion that has been made popular out there, Oguti,
Okay.
The glamour that is painted by the media, it makes people think that it's a walk on the park. In fact, I'm reminded, I'm reminded of an advert. I'm a Kellogg's. Now, the old lady, Uti to his, I think the young man was, or the young boy was around the age of 5-6. Uti, so when you grow up, what do you want to be? Uti, I want to be a Kwaito star. So tell her, I'm a Kellogg's. I think you need to eat more Kellogg's. I got offended, by the way. I'm the one who challenged that advert to Yeah, because I was saying, basically, my boozer, when the mother is asking the question, in her mind, it pops up engineer, doctor, Kwaito. Now when this one says Kwaito, it says, no, I think you need to eat more. Meaning that
we should eat that idea or not. Is wrong.
So I challenged it and they withdrew it. Because the wrong perception that is out there is that, you know, it's people who have dropped out from school who make it. It's people who get into drugs, they become so good.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah.
What about us who've never been into drugs? No one talks about that. They become role models. Lava Abu Kabelo who have sorry, Kabza, sorry, sorry, Benja. You have gone into this, and then you declare it, and then you come back. You become so good. So it means drugs. They making you good. You know, that's Mendoza, TK. TK, you know, Brenda Fassi, they are all good. Yeah, so finally they package. That's why everybody, when it gets here, they go through that process, and when they become good, popular, they get into drugs.
Okay.
All of them, you know. So it's a no-no. I don't know what. You don't need to experience certain things in order to understand that these things are dangerous. You've seen others go through them, and Brenda first went down, TS went down. You know, all these people who were involved in drugs, they went down. Secondly, do not negotiate in a desperate situation. People negotiate out of desperation. They don't even negotiate. They attach their signatures without even reading the contract. Because the desperation is that if I don't attach my signature, they might change their mind. And then you sign, you don't know what you signed for. You know. Secondly, they don't have money to consult. I'm a lawyer, which is something that needs, you know, if we had government that is smart, like me, they would create a situation where they say no person should be allowed to sign a contract that they don't understand. In fact, in the court of law, if I were to approach a court of law and prove which you signed a contract that you did not understand, that contract will be declared null and void. Because it's clearly that you did sign, and how many people have signed who can't read? Umandoza could just take a contract. Umandoza gives a court. Please read for the magistrate what this contract says. That would be a clean proof that he signed it, though, but he can't even read it. So how did he sign it?
He signed it through desperation.
Yeah, it's that desperation. And then the third thing, would you allow somebody who claims to be a doctor to check you and give you medication and inject you when he did not go to school and qualify? Would you allow that person to touch you?
No ways.
You wouldn't. Yeah. So why people are getting into the industry without the knowledge, without the information? So people must inform themselves. No one can trick me. Even Galo could not trick us. That's why Trompies has never been a slave of any. We're never exploited because we're more informed. And we took this as a business, which is one thing that they lack. Many people, they think, it's fun, you know, they're rushing for fame and forget about the business side of it.
So basically you're saying the best way is to make sure that you inform yourself.
Yeah.
So many ways.
Be informed. I mean, if you're starting a business, it's always advisable that you do due diligence. You go and check who are other operators in this space. Who is my market? How best is this doing? What are the risks? You always go and do that. Even if you've got degrees, you can't start a business without doing due diligence. So why do people jump into? They sleep overnight. In the morning, he's got a record company. One of the things that we do as black people is very common in our black communities. You become the CEO. You have no employees. But you are CEO. And then you become the financial director of this company. The marketing director is you. The general manager, you are CEO, you are general manager. And then you want big businesses to support your business. But finance, there's no one who will take you serious when you come and say, I am the CEO, the financial director. There's no one.
Yeah.
No, that's the best advice.
So manje before in our ANC or EFF.
Okay.
ANC or EFF.
ANC.
Ne drink red. Ne get red. Ne tattoo.
Before you EFF, ANC. There you go.
I don't deny the fact I'm a product of ANC.
Yeah.
Ideologically, politically, ideologically, I subscribe to the values of the real ANC.
Yeah.
But not this, the current one.
Not the current, no.
The founding principles of ANC, the founding political ideology,
Yeah.
I subscribe to that. Julius comes from ANC. He was schooled there. I was groomed there.
I let short never say touching.
The short left it was necessary.
Yeah.
It became necessary, and the reason being, I realized that in many years I've been with ANC, over 15 years by the way. I volunteered for 11 years. And what I've been saying that our sector, I would be the only artist participating during the policy conference and raising the issues. When we go into your Buma breakaways, we will fall under a transformation, which is a rhetoric and it has become a cliche. And Umuntu Jangopalo Jordan, who's the Minister of Arts and Culture at that time, would not be there to discuss some issues. I'll be alone discussing issues, raising issues, and sometimes they would make fun out of me. Bambi's political thought, Bambi's the lost generation, the Boom Shaka generation, you know, those things. And there's no political debate around the issues of the sector. And that's what has caused this sector not to transform, not to move from point A to point B in terms of transformation or even political discourse. Everybody talks. You know what they see us as? And we're going for social cohesion. How do I go and coerce you to be happy when I'm not happy? I'm not smiling, but I have to go into a public space and say, yes, let's have fun. When I go back home, okay, I couldn't. And then the president, whenever the president has to go and meet the sector, I'm the one who's called to come and advise the president, not even the minister. But when they deploy somebody who doesn't know the industry. So I felt not appreciated, not taken serious. I felt that they are not even interested in changing the status quo. Everybody talks about only they raise their eyebrows, their tentacles when somebody dies, and that's what they are good at. Messages of condolences and that, and then they say this must not happen. Mahlatini died. Thabo Mbeki said this must never happen again, that an artist in South Africa must die poor. How many have died since Mahlatini until Namad? Even today, it's still happening. So I realized, if there's no political dialogue that is happening with it, we'll never get this, because this industry is political. Let me show you something, let me ask you something, or throw the spanner into the works, something that you've never thought. And I want people of South Africa to remember me with this speech.
It's such.
These things will sense about it. Have you ever heard of a white artist dying poor in South Africa?
Straight that I know of.
Have you ever heard of a white artist who's in drugs and doing illicit and immoral things?
Nix.
Okay.
Who changes my girlfriend? Have you ever heard of it? Or maybe post 1994, white artists don't die. Now it is a new political situation where only black artists die, and they die poor. Who writes about black artists who are immoral, who are dying poor, who are HIV positive? White artists don't get HIV positive.
But I just that no one is saying anything about them.
No one.
White.
No one is saying anything. Why?
That
I remember me when
Not too
this
sure
one.
why is that.
Now,
I'm trying to say that doesn't mean those white the white guys or the white artists
Don't
they
die.
don't have AIDS, they don't do drugs,
Yeah.
they don't have many.
Are you saying no
women.
one is saying anything about
so,
it? Akhulumiwe.
I don't know why bangakhuluma.
Yes, why bangakhuluma?
so are we self-inflicting pain? Yoguti, a black person is always inferior than a white person. Is that what we are perpetuating?
Even the media
Okay.
doing
This is what we are
Here's the point.
perpetuating.
Here's the point. Here's the
Okay.
point. Yeah.
But okay, here's the final stroke on the back. Ogote, where do white artists live or disappear to before the summer and the Metro Awards? And where do they disappear to after the summer and Metro Awards? Because we only see them during Metro and summer. As an artist, I only see them that time. Okay. We'll have a conference about the set, you'll never see white artists there. They are not dying poor. Okay.
Yeah.
They don't have platforms that we have to play music. Well, it's only not for Noid on TV. We have so many platforms. But then, the critical question and the economics of it, if somebody would be able to explain it to me, the best award that you could ever get in any of these awards, it is the best-selling album of the year, because it means you've got getting money. Where does the best album come from? Which genre? Should be Buddha music. Go. Buddha music. Explain the economics, because Afrikaners are a minority in our country. We are a majority, but we get outsold by the minority. Because the minority are very protective of their own. Minority are very supportive of their own. They buy. Music. And then when somebody dies, then we go, why? About that to media, social media, we ridicule people. Somebody was saying, artists, black artists, they waste their money, they buy what glamour. That is a mechanism of coping in the society that says, if you are not rich, no one wants you. So you must pose before a Bentley and pose as if you are rich. The Casper in your vest and no one can explain that economics for me. Who takes care of these white artists? Somebody must be taking care of them.
Something, yeah.
You know, they've got big houses, by the way. They've got big houses. They don't stay Soweto, Mkukwini. Okay. So, if I die, please remember this. This is a question that I'm leaving. I've been asking this question. Nobody has ever answered me with what happens, what causes that. But I would tell you, it is us to ourselves. Because even if you look at the issue there, as a race city is xenophobia. There's no xenophobia. It's self-hate. If I see a black person succeeding, he becomes my mirror, a mirror that reflects my failures. My failures. So I want to remove this. That's why I kill a black person. But I will not kill an Asian. I will not equally so who's not a South African. I will not kill a European. If you see a white person driving a beautiful car, he's successful. He must be a successful business. When you see a black person, he must be into drugs. There's a lot that we need to demystify. That's what was our mission from the beginning with Kwaito. That we want to demystify these things and change the mentality that we have. But unfortunately, I stand alone. I cannot fight these things alone.
But we'll need people to actually comment on our podcast. You know, very question imposed. As they always comment, you know. So this is a serious comment because this conversation is even higher. Apart from you know.
Generally.
Generally, this is exactly what is happening.
But it also reflects the fact that the media is in the hands of the few people, the white people. We were never able to transform certain things. That's why I felt with ANC is failing to do what it promised to do, what founded it. You know, media is in the hands of white people. You know.
Na i-t-shirt ye-Happy Days osikhumbula ngayo. Thina sokukhumbula ngama konje bathi ngama-lessons lawo sinike wona. Phela namhlanje bekade ushaya ama-lessons so isikipha se-Happy Days sisinayo wena awuthiyami uzosilahlela akubona ama-gens bathi hey lesikipha simandela ama-gens bengiyebuka masibuye edele.
Esingabona siyazo i-sponsor seat.
And then it's actually our sponsor, our label sponsor, Next Deluxe. Never trust the living.
Oh, okay. Never trust the living.
Never trust the living.
What's rather dead?
Because it's a one time.
So,
I tell you right.
Pleasure to you.